So today we have Sean Jones, an iconic figure in Canadian music. I, you got your flowers at the Drake OVO Fest a couple of years ago. Could you tell us how that came about and how that experience was?
Yeah, I think starting from scratch, DJ starting from scratch,
Yeah,
who in essence kind of came up with and have known for quite some time. I think he was in contact with Drake, and Drake had asked Drake had asked him, I think, to pull together some talent from back in the day,
yeah,
and maybe our name was mentioned. And Scratch had been speaking with Drew, a member of the
yeah,
group, and was like, "Hey, would you like to perform at this thing? And what would be the chances of, in essence, actually coming back together to do a couple songs?"
yeah.
And Drew reached out to us, and one of the guys, Touch Oba, was actually in Dubai. Like he's living in Dubai, and so
Yeah.
it was an opportunity that we just couldn't turn down, and we ended up doing that. We had about a week to like prepare, so
Yeah.
we got together a choreographer to put together some simple moves for You'll Never Find. And yeah, we showed up on the night and came out on that stage, and just the love that was given was
It
just
was a
so,
surprise. It was a big surprise to see you guys. That's why.
yeah, it was just like, wow. It was really, really special.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with Glenn Lewis afterwards, and he was talking about, when you're in it, like back in the day, you're just trying to grind. You're just trying to make it. You're not thinking about anything else,
Yeah.
nothing. You don't realize the impact that you're actually having on the culture, on
Yeah.
people. And
Correct.
it's moments like those where you come out and people are just like, we didn't sing a note, and everyone was just like losing their
Yeah.
minds. It was like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like we made an impact. We made a dent in Canadian music history. And it was a really special night.
Okay. I had asked Drew this when I interviewed him. What do you think about the lack of groups now in music in general? Because I figured that it's might be a cost-cutting situation,
Mhm.
like how they did for hip hop with DJs having a DJ.
Yeah, yeah,
What are your
yeah.
thoughts?
Um, I think I think music and culture and entertainment and art goes in cycles.
Yeah,
And you know, there was a time when rock was like this really massive thing. It was like people, and now rock faded into the background, and now it is about R&B and hip hop and Afro beats and all this other stuff. But make no mistake, it will circle back around again to live music, people actually playing instruments on stage.
yeah,
The same can be said for, I think, can be said for just the way that R&B is going through things. Yeah, like harken all the way back to the 50s, 60s, 70s. There was actual like groups, the
yeah,
OJs and the Temptations, and you brought it up to like our time where it was like Mint Condition and Troop and all these New Edition. And yeah, it's just become more of like a solo thing. And why that is, I don't know. I think I think it's a lot easier. Everything has become like this microwave generation where
yeah,
everything needs to be done very, very quickly, and it's a lot easier to just work with one person,
yeah.
create create
Instagram,
a body and create a body of work
yeah,
rather
self,
than, yeah, yeah,
Instagram, everything is self, like,
everything is self,
Yeah,
rather than work with five or four people and try and work that all out, the harmonies, this and that. there's
yeah,
also there's also a lack of people wanting to really educate themselves on the music and work at it.
yeah,
Like If you're in
yeah,
a group, you got to sing harmonies. There are some people out there right now that are solo artists that can't even sing. They
yeah,
can't even sing. Like it's real. Like they're using auto tune on stage, and because they actually can't hold a note, and much
yeah,
less harmonize with like three or four other people. Like that's just not even a thing anymore. And so there will come a point, and I think it's starting to happen very, very slowly, where people just aren't, and I think, in fact, it's happening a lot faster than people understand,
yeah,
but people just aren't getting it. People are really starting to revolt against this synthesized nonsense that is coming out. No one's buying music anymore.
because it's
Uh,
gone too far too, it's gone too extreme. Like there was like back in the day, you would have like Roger Troutman. It was used as
yeah,
an instrument.
yeah,
Now it's like used as a crutch to get over. Like just so
yes.
people are seeing it for what it is.
Yeah, and I mean it extends to singing, it extends to songwriting, it extends to production. You know, people are just hopping on, grabbing a beat off of Splice, spitting a couple bars on it, calling themselves rappers, using an app, a plugin to mix their stuff. It doesn't sound good, but they'll throw that up on Spotify.
Yeah,
They start to get a following, and all of a sudden they're stars, but they're
yeah,
not but they're not ready to be stars because the talent isn't there. They haven't actually developed that talent enough, but that becomes the bar. Now
yeah,
that's the bar to become a star. And that bar is now down here. It used to be way up here. It used to be like, holy shit, what do I need to do? Like, I gotta sing in order to even
yeah,
get noticed, get an opportunity for people to hear me. Now it's like, dude, if you can hold one note, not even the other notes, but maybe just one note, you can grab a microphone, you're good. You might just have a chance of becoming a global superstar. And they talk about, oh, Spotify, it's great because now everybody has a chance to become a star and to show their stuff. Yeah, but that's the problem.
yeah.
Everybody can do it. And when everybody can do it, it's not special anymore.
That's-
And when it's not special anymore, people don't want to spend money on it. And when people don't want to spend money on it, then the industry crumbles, which is what's happening right now. The industry is in a downfall. They can talk about whatever way they want to, but you can see it. Like record labels are cutting all their people, they're starting to merge. They haven't been spending any money on artist development for years and
Yeah,
years and years, right? And the only people making money are, the good old people at Spotify and the record labels to a certain extent because they're just making money off of the streams because they're in cahoots with Spotify. Like it's nuts, man. It's
yeah.
really
That's why I say the social media has been a positive influence and also negative because there's a lot of clout chasing that goes on in place of trying to get over with your actual music.
yes.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that,
not about
yeah,
yeah, it's unfortunately and there are, don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of amazing artists that are out
yeah,
there that can sing their faces off, that have songs that are absolutely beautiful, that should be stars, but they can't
okay,
cut through the rest of the noise that's out there when 100,000 songs every single day are being uploaded to
yeah,
Spotify. How do you cut through that? And it used to be, oh, if you're really good, da 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 da. But now it's like you need money. Like now you can
yeah,
pay to try and cut through.
get over.
Maybe you can do that, but what does that mean, man? Like the whole entire thing is just it's
I
a
know.
big ball of crap,
Yeah,
and I feel bad for younger artists, I guess. I've had time and I'm still going. I'm very,
yeah,
very fortunate. I've carved out a little thing for myself. So business wise, as an entrepreneur, I've been able to keep things rolling over 25 years. But
yeah,
these younger artists, they ask, sometimes they come up and they ask advice, and I really don't know what to tell them in terms of, you know, how to move forward in the music industry right now because it's all smoke and mirrors. All of it is smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can have, okay, so you've got 1 million followers. Great. Is anyone booking you for a show? Can you sell out a show? Does
Yeah.
anybody want to buy your
I've had
actual?
this talk with a person that was signed to a label back in the day, and that's what he says. He says he sees through it. He says he sees a
Yeah,
lot of followers, but those same artists, could they book and sell out an arena or
no,
a
come on,
concert?
man.
Yeah,
Come on, man. If you got 1 million followers, and they're actual fans, and even if they spend $10 on you for the year, how much money have you made? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
They can't even do that. They can't
yeah,
even, it's hard to sell out the Drake in Toronto, which is just it's a small little venue,
yeah.
maybe a couple hundred people, maybe. I don't even know if it holds that much. And you're having trouble selling that out at $20 a ticket.
That's
You
what
know
he
what I
said.
mean? Like
The math is not mathing.
the math ain't mathing, man. And you see, and you also see, 1 million people that are following these people. So you got 1 million followers. Then they post something, and it's like they get 3 comments or
Yeah,
they get 4 comments. Come on,
I
it's
know.
it, it's smoke and mirrors. You
Yeah,
can, and the problem is, you used to not recognize that. Now everybody recognizes that.
yeah,
You know, and so that cat's out the bag, which just means it just shows people just how disingenuous absolutely everything is. And I mean, it feeds into a much bigger picture with the
yeah,
entire world right now. But in terms of music, yeah, we're in an interesting place. And you really, to a certain extent, I can say this about it. If you're still doing music and you're still putting it out there and you're still out there performing, you must really love what it is that you're doing,
yeah,
because there's no real big return that's happening. You can still dream for that, and
yeah,
maybe, shit, I could put out a song, I could write a tune next year, put it out, it catches fire, and all of a sudden I'm a massive star. It literally can happen.
yeah.
One of
That's
the
what
songs
happens
that I,
sometimes.
one of the songs that I put out, for my album in 2000, when did I put that out? 2015, 2012. Someone could listen to it tomorrow and put it on in a movie, and all of a sudden I blow up. You
Yeah,
know, because that's the
rediscover it.
only,
Yeah,
yeah, one of the only good things about this digital age that we're in is that it's really never too late. Just because you put it out there, an album out there 5 years ago, and it didn't blow up, doesn't mean that it's not going to blow up
well, yeah,
now. It literally could blow up now. So you should never stop promoting your stuff, because you just never know who's going to hear it. And that's the age that we're living in. So that's one positive of stuff that's going on right now. But yeah, you really got to love what it is that you're doing, musically, artistically right now,
yeah,
to keep on going, because it's a lot easier just to get a 9 to 5. And especially the older you get, the more responsibilities you get. You got
yeah.
kids, you
Life
got a
kicks in.
mortgage. Life is life, and it
Yeah,
don't stop.
yeah,
So yeah, man.
yeah. Speaking of loving what you do, I attended one of your Soul in the City at Casa Loma.
Mm.
Actually, put up some of the performances too. How was that experience? Because for those who've never been to Casa Loma, they won't get the regal environment that whole situation is.
Yeah. Uh, Casa Loma for those that don't know, is a large structure. It looks like a castle. It's actually a house. It was a house that was built way, way back in like the 1800s. But it looks like a castle, and it's kind of like at the north end of the city. And it's got this beautiful gardens. It's got a glass pavilion that they put out in the summertime. And basically they hold events. Now they were holding Symphony in the Gardens, which is where they would bring in an orchestra. People would sit down underneath in the gardens and underneath the pavilion, and they would listen to orchestrated music, symphonies, and it was a beautiful thing. But the gentleman who runs the place, Nick DiDonato, decided that he wanted to do something different. He wanted a different sort of feel for a night. And so he asked if I could do on Monday nights do something that was a little more upbeat, a little
Yeah,
more energy. And that's when Soul in the City was born. I brought at that point, I think I had like a 6 or 7 piece band, and we
Yeah,
invited all our friends to come down. It was like 200 people. It was the very first one. I think it was June 2015. And we did it to rave reviews. And what was only supposed to be 4 shows turned into the rest of the summer. And
yeah,
then the next year, by the time next year rolled around, we had like five, six, 700 people that were showing up, and they
uh,
were paying.
yeah,
And then it grew to the point where it was like 1,000 people every night that were coming out. My band grew to nine pieces, and I was inviting up special guest artists, which was a fantastic to share the stage with.
yeah,
We had some very notable people. We had Eric Benet that showed up. Macy Gray showed up. We had all kinds
yeah,
of
yeah.
like notable Canadian artists, from Julie Black to Divine Brown, Jackie Richardson to,
Yeah, Divine
oh my
Brown was
gosh.
there when I attended. Divine Brown was there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we had an amazing time, and the energy, it's tough to explain. I mean, if you see pictures and video of it, it is
yeah,
exactly that. Like at the end of the night, it turned into like this dance just party. It was a fever, the energy. It was just unbelievable. People left there just like on a high.
yeah,
I had so many people come up and just be like, that was the greatest night that I've had in
yeah. It
years.
was, it was,
And
it
it
was,
was
it
just
was
a
nice. It was really
it
nice.
was a beautiful, beautiful thing that we were able to carry on for 8 years. And then this year they decided they wanted to go in a different direction, so they did, and that's that. But yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful time. I'm so happy that I was able to do that. I grew a lot as an artist
Yeah,
from doing that for sure. And just the memories, man. Just really, really, and the material that I put together, like the catalog of material that I have, because
yeah,
the special thing that I do is I put together medleys and weave songs together in different ways that you wouldn't even expect to be heard. Like we turned These Eyes into a real R&B song. We
that's
turned,
cool.
um, we took Aretha Franklin tunes and like turned them upside down and did stuff. But just the way that these
Yeah,
songs are weaved in and out, like the medleys, just took people on a journey for the entire night. And I have so much of that material just like stockpiled
yeah,
and just waiting to take on the road, really, because the rest of Canada really needs to hear this. They
yeah,
really,
yeah. I know that you were a part of celebrating 50 years of R&B and soul.
yes, yes, at
So was
Harborfront.
that like a continuation of what you just described to?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I had been speaking with Harborfront for a while. I really wanted to perform on that massive stage that they have down there by the water,
yeah,
and it just seemed right. Harborfront was turning 50, and so we were just like, let's celebrate 50 years of R&B soul down there. And I had an amazing special guest once again. Divine Brown, Jackie Richardson, Glenn Lewis. I got Glenn
yeah,
Lewis to come out, and I got a young cat named Vincent Darby, who was
yeah,
phenomenal. And we threw down, and yeah, I pulled out definitely some of the Soul in the City type medleys for sure, and
yeah,
then just added some other stuff. But everybody down there was dancing, like people couldn't sit down, like it was
yeah,
just a massive jam. And it just goes to show that it's not the venue. It's really the music. It's
yeah.
all about the music, and of course, who's presenting it as well. But it's not about the venue. And people will
So
try
funny.
and get stuck, like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's all can work, in Casa Loma. Oh, no, man. What we do works everywhere.
It's a
And
feeling. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
feeling. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So you seem like a big history buff on R&B and soul.
yeah,
Yesterday, Cissy Houston passed away, the mother of
yeah,
Whitney Houston.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on her and her impact on herself? Because she was a legend and helped crafting her daughter called The Voice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much of Sissy's history.
Yeah,
I know she was like definitely a gospel singer for sure. Very,
Yeah.
very strong,
Because they said she did
unbelievable.
backup for Aretha and also Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah, like she's
Yeah.
yeah, like her Rolodex of her what she has accomplished, what she had accomplished in her life was
Yeah.
extraordinary. Um, but clearly I know her from being the mother of
Which
the
everybody,
one and the only Whitney
yeah,
Houston. And it's kind of interesting too, because they were just celebrating Whitney the other day. I think it was on an award show, and Jennifer Hudson was singing "And I Will Always Love You."
yeah,
And listen, I've heard Deborah Cox do this like live on like Broadway. I've
yeah.
heard Jennifer Hudson. I've heard so many people sing Whitney Houston songs, and there is nobody, nobody that can match what it is that she. When you hear other people try to
Yeah.
do it, it makes you appreciate how
True.
unbelievable of an artist that she actually was. The tone, the clarity, just just the way that she was just able to communicate it's just unbelievable, and we'll never have another,
I know,
so
ironically, I just saw the Whitney biopic that Cece was behind on Netflix. I think it came up on Netflix last week.
yeah.
And I just watched it last, and then to hear this news yesterday, it was just like, oh wow.
Oh yeah, we're losing all of
I
them, man.
know. I know.
And it's who's gonna take their place. This is kind of the problem, like when others passed away, there was always someone that the torch was being passed to,
Yeah,
someone of that level. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it
yeah.
just seems like now, because like I was saying,
I
the
think it's
bar is
at the
getting
beginning,
set
yes,
so
yes,
low.
yes.
There, it's like, who is the torch getting passed to? You listen to all these songs on the radio that are on right now. Do you think in 50 years anyone will be listening to that shit again?
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
But
we've
I guarantee you they'll still be listening to My Girl. They'll still be listening to, you know what I mean, to Let's Stay Together. They'll still be
yeah.
listening to these songs because they were so well crafted and they were beautiful songs.
I
And
know.
it's just
I was
like,
just telling my friend the other day when the Jacksons used to do their songs like I Want Your Back, there was actually 300 different takes. And then Berry Gordy went back to one of the earlier takes. So all that, like doing things over, trying to be perfection,
oh yeah,
that's what made the music like last and become timeless.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
it was crafted. It took time. Albums didn't come out one year after the other. People weren't just releasing music after music after music. No, they put out a record and you had to wait 2 years, sometimes 4 years
yeah,
before an artist, and you were fiending for them to come out. Like when they came out with a new record, you remember it was just
yeah.
like, oh, shit,
I
I got it.
know.
People were lining up at
Oh,
record stores
instead
to
of going
try
on
and
the
get
phone
a
to
copy
down.
of it.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
you know, now it's like people are releasing songs literally, they don't even say they are. They're just like, yeah, I'm putting out another song tomorrow.
yeah.
And it's just like,
It's,
anyways, I could
what
go
do,
on
so
for
what do you
days.
consider to be R&B and soul from your perspective, the genre?
Oh, yeah, because they are. I feel like they are different. Soul, I don't know. I mean, rhythm and blues, I think, is I in my head when I think of rhythm and blues, I think of more dancey per se. I think
Yeah,
of as opposed to soul music, which I kind of when I think of soul, I think of Otis Redding. I think of Aretha Franklin.
yeah,
But some would say that that's R&B, right? But in my mind,
yeah.
it's just like the way that they sang and the way that it touched you in your soul
Please
was
catch
just
oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
that's like soul music to me, at least.
yeah,
Um, and then when you start talking about R&B, someone like Marvin Gaye,
Oh,
Marvin
yeah.
Gaye, you know, is like
I, I
R&B.
saw a video where he was laying down on a couch singing.
Yeah, like
And,
that's just
his voice was amazing, and he was laying down, and he was singing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Was I want you the right way, I want you, but I want you to want me too. And he's just lying down on the couch, and
yeah,
like
yeah.
the band's like, woo!
That's the
I know
exact
that
video.
video.
Yeah, that's the exact video.
Yeah, man. Like to me, that's R&B. Like you
Yeah,
know, the no one likes to mention his name, but you can't erase the genius behind R. Kelly. You can't
yeah,
just, I
yeah.
know the stuff that he did. I know it's horrific. But the genius
The
behind
artistry,
that
yeah,
music,
yeah, yeah.
R&B. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
if he hadn't
People
done all
say
that shit, the
it's
king
the
of
king of
R&B,
R&B.
like,
Yeah, yeah. They say it's the
yeah,
king of R&B.
you know, and then you have, but then you also have like R&B pop, which I would say is like Usher.
Yeah,
Usher is like R&B, like pop. Bruno Mars, he leans harder on the pop side, but there's R&B in there, especially that last record that he did. That
yeah.
was like a throwback to like 90s R&B. Um, but there's still that tinge of pop. Michael Jackson, is he pop or is he R&B?
Well, they said Off the Wall was really R&B, and then he switched out because he
Switched
didn't.
over to pop? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
he said he didn't get the album of the year at the Grammy, so he said next time, and then he ended up getting it.
right.
Yeah,
But it's just like, what does pop even denote? Pop means popular music.
popular. Yeah,
What was more popular than Michael Jackson at the time? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Doesn't matter really what it sounds like per se. Pop should just be popular music, and
Popular
that
music.
was as popular as it gets. I don't
Yeah,
know. The lines really blur. The lines really blur between they can blur, and I don't think there's any like clean cut. Like this is soul, this is R&B. I think soul and R&B are very closely tied, and there are some compositions that definitely melt both of them. And
yeah,
then on that other side, it can also, if there's like a spectrum, you know, there's also that other side as you go further along, it goes from R&B into pop. And somewhere along the way, the two of those intersect. And then you have
yeah,
artists that do that, you know? So there's no like clean lines, but there are definitely like soul artists, you know? James Brown.
yes, yes.
Don't you know you got soul? Bam, 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 bam. And even that, you can subsection that into like, because that shit was really funky,
I
you
was just
know?
gonna say
But
that.
then
Yeah,
there's
my dad
funk.
would say it's funk. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
So then you got Bootsy Collins and you got all these other people that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like all the way through, right? It's fascinating, but
So,
it's great music. Woo.
yeah. Speaking of music, great. I see you have an old kind of to new edition with your new
Yeah.
single.
Yeah. Yeah. If it
What was
isn't
your
love,
most popular? Yeah, if it isn't love.
yeah, man. Uh yeah, you know what? I was doing a residency at the El Macambo,
Yeah,
and it was after Soul in the City. It was last year, I think October we actually started it. And I wanted to do something different, a different sort of night, because the El Mocambo is a club. It's a legendary, amazing club. The sound in there, probably the best sounding club in the city in terms of like
yeah,
live music, bar none. They put $35 million into that place.
yeah. Oh, that's
Unbelievable.
yeah,
And Mike Shalou, who runs this joint, and Danielle Weckley, just unbelievable people. Andre Doucette, who runs the sound, like unbelievable staff there. But I
yeah,
wanted to do something different. I didn't want to do like the same sort of like dinner theater type stuff that I was doing at Casa Loma. I wanted to get a little funky, and I wanted to explore the R&B side and hip hop
yeah,
side of things, because I
yeah,
had never really got a chance to do that at Casa Loma, because I didn't feel like the crowd would really get it per
yeah,
se.
yeah.
So I started mashing up R&B and hip hop songs, and I started mashing up like Stevie Wonder with Special Ed. I got it made.
Oh, yeah,
Signed, sealed, delivered on your dinner. Crazy,
yes,
nuts. and the crowd loved it. But
Yeah.
I ended up mashing up Vibrant Thing, Q-Tip's Vibrant
Oh
Thing
yeah.
with New Edition's If It Isn't Love. And
Yeah.
yeah, dude. And it was
Wow.
crazy. Oh, dude, people lost their minds. Joel Josephs, who was playing keys for me at the time, and he's an amazing producer, he was like, "Yo, I got an idea. Like, we should do that. Like, redo it." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Just write your own song, you know what I mean? But we'll use like the hook." And he came up with an idea, and I didn't really get it at first, but he sent it to me, and I started writing to it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this actually works." And
Yeah.
so yeah, we ended up recording the song and just like put it out. I recorded a little video in Kensington Market, something quick and dirty. It
Yeah.
wasn't even supposed to be a full video. It was just supposed to be content just to throw on Instagram, but it
Yeah.
ended up being like a full video. And
Um,
yeah, I really enjoy the track. I think it's nice and it's a nice nod to New
yeah.
Edition, like their version. Yeah.
That's interesting because I had asked Drew who did he think was the greatest R&B group of all time, and if I remember correctly, I think he said New Edition because they did what you just said. They did hip hop with BBD, Belle Biv
Yeah.
DeVoe, and
Yeah.
then they had Johnny Gill solo,
Yep.
and then they had Ralph Tresvant. So who do you feel is top five greatest R&B slash soul group of all time?
Like group was?
Yeah,
Oh, geez. I mean, top five has got to be. I don't know what order, but like you've got the Temptations.
yeah,
You definitely have New Edition in there. You got to. Um,
yeah.
uh, the OJs, I think, deserve their flowers. They had a bunch of different great hits. Um, can you add BBD in there? I mean, they were a group, and they did have a lot of success.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess you could add that in there. And then another one, who would be five? I know I'm missing somebody like that's.
There's Jackson 5.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, jeez. There you go.
There you
There you
go.
go. That's the yeah. I mean that right there, done, 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 done. And there were others like,
Yeah.
but they didn't have like the massive success that those ones did. Like Troop was unbelievable. I loved Troop growing
True.
up, but they had like one or two songs that were like really just classics, but they never
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
floated. You know what I mean? They didn't cross over. They didn't cross over to that other side. You had Silk, who was fantastic as well vocally, and they had one or two songs, but never ended up crossing
Yeah.
over. H Town,
I I was just thinking of him, H-Town, when he was
H Town
speaking.
was
And
yeah.
even High Five had a few songs there too.
Oh, high five.
Yeah.
High five is the whole reason why I started singing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep,
Yeah. And
yep. They
the lead singer, Tony Thompson too, he had a great voice.
oh man.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had a
dude.
great voice.
That's the whole reason, not the whole reason, but uh
Biggest inspiration.
no, not even. Check it. I was in
Yeah.
ninth grade. I tell this story all the time. I was in ninth grade in French class, and I really wasn't into singing per se, but I mean
Yeah.
I enjoyed just humming and singing and whatever. And I wanted attention from ladies, but I had no idea how to get it, no game.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting in class one day, and Anita Hines behind me is like, hears me humming, and she's like, Miss Priolo, Sean can sing.
Yeah.
And so Miss Priola's like, oh, we'll come up to the front of the class and sing. And I don't know why I did it, but I went up to the front of that class and I started singing
Uh-uh.
High Five, the kissing game.
Yeah.
And every girl in the room went, and that was it. I was like, oh, this is the game. Okay. That was it. That's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
what started me singing.
Sometimes it's
Literally.
just simple like that. Yeah.
I was just like, wow, I can get girls from this. This is amazing. Cool. All right. Let's keep on doing this. And it took some time, but eventually, by the time I hit university, it had turned into something that I just loved. Now I
Yeah.
just loved to sing. I loved to write. I loved to be on stage and performing. It turned into like a true passion.
Yeah.
Um, and the girl thing was still nice too, but
Of course. Okay. So you still have shows coming up. I seen that you have Holiday Soul Hamilton.
yes,
So what can
yes.
people expect from that event?
Well, I did Holiday Soul in 2022 at Kerner Hall,
Oh,
and everyone asked me to do it again. And it's taken me some time, but finally I was able to like, okay, let's just do it. Um, so I live in Hamilton, and there
yeah.
is a place called the Music Hall. It's downtown. It's an old church that they're trying to turn into an event space. And it's
Oh,
beautiful. Like it's rustic as hell. Like it's
yeah.
old, it needs work, but picture like a small Massey hall with like wraparound seating. There's still
Yeah.
pews upstairs. So it's like general
It's
seating
kind of
upstairs, but
vintage. Yeah.
downstairs it'll be seated. The stage is phenomenal. It's got like this massive organ at the
Yeah.
back, and it's just like going to shine lights on it. I've got the Hamilton Youth Philharmonic Orchestra. I've got some members of them coming. I've
Yeah.
got Divine Brown. I've got Jackie Richardson. I've got a 10-piece band, and we are going to throw down soulful versions of Christmas music that everyone's going to enjoy because everyone enjoys that. And here's
Yeah.
the crazy thing. The reason why I started that was because in 25 or 30 years, as long as I've been like out there hasn't been a soulful Christmas show that has toured this country. 25 or 30 years. Yeah, man.
You
Dude,
think so with all these top R&B artists we have?
well, yeah, you would think, right? But
Yeah.
no, it's the same. It's the same people that go through, and I have nothing against any of these people. Like they're phenomenal. The
Yeah.
tenors used to be my agent mates, or sorry, my management mates. They used to be managed by the same people as me.
Yeah.
So every year they come through and do a tour. Johnny Reed, every single year comes through, does a Christmas tour. So
Yeah.
many people do Christmas tours across the country, and yet no black faces come through and do a Christmas tour across Canada. And certainly not with an orchestra.
Yeah.
And so I got really tired, and I've been really tired for years now, of the constant notion or assertion that black music doesn't work in this country.
Yeah.
It's still to this day, like literally like a couple weeks ago, there were still people saying that. And these are important people in boardrooms,
Yeah.
agents, record labels. They all say it. And they don't say
No,
it
I've
out
heard it.
loud.
I've heard it too. I've heard it like years I've been hearing that. That's what
Doesn't
we
work.
that's why we try to help set up this platform and everything to get people to get heard and get their voice out
Absolutely.
there. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It does work. It's just that no one has ever built the foundation to make it work. And so
Yeah.
the easiest thing for them to say is, yeah, it doesn't work because they don't know how to build it. And they should have been building it from before, but because of there's so many layers on that shit,
Yeah.
it was never built. And they had all the wrong people trying to build it. And so it didn't work. And so they just said, oh, I guess it just doesn't work.
Because
No, man, you just
how could you say it doesn't work and Drake is like the biggest artist out there? So because I heard about his struggles and then he had to leave. But I know it's been like that from the days with Mishimi and Maestro too. So
yep, yep.
if they cross over in America, obviously there's an audience that takes in the music.
Well, and what's really silly at this point to me is okay, back in the day you used to be signed to a record label, they give you money, you make your record, they need to make that money back. And so, you know, um, you got to sell records and try and make that and do shows. And then you have to get signed to an affiliate label in different areas of the world. So if you're signed to Universal Canada, they're going to try and get you signed to Universal Japan, Universal, Norway, Universal Brazil.
Yeah.
And that's when your songs get released and they still make money. Those places make money, blah, 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 blah. Now, and it could be said, oh, well, I'm not sure if this artist is going to do well there. It's a lot of money, this and that. Okay, cool. You're in the space now where if you release a record, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like literally, it goes on
Yeah.
Spotify, it's released everywhere.
Everywhere.
There is no more, oh, I'm releasing it in Brazil a month later. No. Once it goes on Spotify,
Yeah.
everybody has it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Easy.
and the record labels are making money off of the streaming, and they also influence the streaming. So there really is no excuse anymore in terms of
Yeah.
like spending the money and trying to make it back. You just need a proper plan and you need to put it together. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody has ever been able to do that here.
Yeah.
They put all the wrong people in all the wrong positions. And so, yeah, this is where we're at. But I am adamant to prove everybody wrong. And so in 2022, I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I had been thinking about it for years, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to pull the trigger. And I did it. And unfortunately, on the same weekend that my show was happening, my show happened on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey had two shows back to back on that same weekend.
Yeah.
And however, even with her having two shows, that's 34,000 tickets that were sold to her thing, right?
Yeah.
Taking away from my potential audience. I still got 800 people to come out to a 1,200 seat theater for my show. Imagine if she
Yeah.
hadn't been there, right?
Yeah. Easy. So, yeah.
It works. This music works, but no one is going to help us do it. So we got to do it
Yeah.
for ourselves. And so I'm putting on another two. I haven't really done anything too much in Hamilton, so we'll see exactly what goes down here,
Yeah.
Belleville. But it's a fantastic show. There is no doubt. The price point is right, and we're just gonna keep on trucking along, man. I am very very optimistic and confident in the product that I've created, whether it's the Soul in the City product, the stuff that I did there, whether it's this Christmas show product that I have. I even have like a celebration of Motown thing with an orchestra. Like I have charts the
Yeah.
entire thing. I'm very confident in the product. Now I just need partners to help me put it on. And
Yeah.
finding those people is a tough thing because it's white corporate America, corporate Canada, and they still have this idea it's not
Yeah.
going to work when
Yeah.
I've proven that it does. Even after you prove that it does, they're still
Yeah.
saying,
Hesitant.
not too sure, they're still
Yeah.
iffy on it. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
But that's how goes back to what you were saying at the beginning. When you're doing it, you're not realizing you're opening doors or at least leaving a trailblaze
Yes.
and
And that's
not
that's a
opening every door.
100%. That's
Yeah.
100% what I'm trying to do at this point in my career. I
Yeah.
am trying to make an impact. If I'm not doing that, then it's I have this song called Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. And I it's written kind of in the sense when I was writing it, uh I was writing it about like someone that was suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia and like
Yeah.
they're losing their memories and they're wondering if I lose my memories, does that mean the rest of the world is going to forget about me as well? Once all this is faded, once it's all
Yeah.
faded, I
Yeah.
can't even remember my name. Will anybody else remember anything else that I've done? Right? And it's a song about that, a really powerful song.
That's
And it's
soulful.
just yeah, you take a listen to it. And at the end of the day, as I've gotten older, for me, it's like, what will people say about me when I'm gone? I feel like I still got, knock on wood, I still got a while left.
Yeah.
But when I'm gone, is all they're gonna say, oh, that he was a great singer, or you know what I mean, or whatever.
As
Or
we're saying this right now, you know what song I'm thinking of and a performance? Sammy Davis Jr. with Mr. Bojangles.
oh yeah, yep,
Yeah. I remember the song was similar, something like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's my thing now. It's like, what will people remember me for in the day? And I hope that I have blazed some trails for people to a path,
yeah,
or at least help blaze a path for some people to like hop on and move the bar forward, because it's so needed. And I'm
yeah.
just tired. I'm just tired of that, of them saying, no, it doesn't work, it can't happen. Okay, well, I'm starting to find, and I've found a bunch of like-minded people that are going to move this thing forward. So
Yeah,
regardless, it's happening.
that's good because someone has to do it. It's not gonna
Yep.
just happen by itself without nobody with the vision for it.
Nope. 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 Not at all. So
So,
yeah,
is
man.
there anything else you would like to leave the viewers?
Come on out to Holiday Soul. It's going to be a fabulous time. If you can't make it to Hamilton, if you're seeing this and you're in Belleville, all good. But yeah, check out SeanJonesMusic.com, and follow me there. Sign up for my newsletter. I'm doing a bunch of stuff, man, and hopefully we'll be traveling to a place near you shortly. So yeah, that's it. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me on
Thank you
this,
for
and
the interview.
congratulations. And
It was
keep it going, man. The world,
yeah,
Canada needs this. Like we need it
yeah.
badly. So congratulations and keep on doing your thing, brother.
Thank you, bro.